The Oregon coast is undoubtedly regarded as one of the best places for road trips. Highway 101 runs all the way down the coast and offers an incredibly scenic drive with plenty to see and do. The protruding sea stacks and the expansive view of the sea make for a beautiful journey, whether you're driving or hiking. Find the ultimate Oregon coast road trip itinerary with this guide. This Oregon coast road trip includes everything you want to know in this video. All views, stops, treks, viewpoints, and locations to stay along the Oregon coast. So let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to Travel Great Vacations. As you probably guessed from the title, this video takes you through the top things you could do when visiting the Oregon coast by road. Watch till the end to find out some amazing places and hotspots you could travel to. Let's get into it. Day 1. Astoria and Cannon Beach. Our journey begins in Astoria, about a 2-hour drive west of Portland at the mouth of the Columbia River. After a stroll along the Riverwalk, drive about 5 miles south to Fort Clatsop in the Lewis and Clark National Historical Park. It was the winter headquarters of pioneering explorers Meriwether Lewis and William Clark in 1805 and their discovery party. Head to Cannon Beach, about 22 miles south of Astoria. Haystack Rock can rise from the sea among miles of flat sand and slapped beaches. Visit Ecola State Park on the northern edge of town for forested hiking trails with panoramic ocean views. Cannon Beach has a number of beachfront hotels and restaurants to keep you comfortable during your overnight stay. Day 2. Depoe Bay and the Three Capes Scenic Loop. If you're traveling from Cannon Beach, USA, take the 101 south, and you're about 40 miles from Tillamook in a dairy country with lush green fields. Don't miss the opportunity to sample local produce in the form of cheese and/or ice cream. Look for the Three Capes Scenic Loop Fork just south of Tillamook. A 35-mile loop trail takes you to 3 massive headlands. You can hike and admire spectacular views. Enjoy lunch at Oceanside, overlooking the Pacific Ocean before rejoining the U.S. Navy in Pacific City 101 connection. Drive another 45 minutes south to Depoe Bay. In spring and summer, whale-watching boats set sail from the nation's smallest port to spot the 20-ton gray whales that pass by on their annual migration. Back on land, learn more about these amazing mammals at the Whale Watching Center. Day 3. Newport Lighthouse. Make the bustling city of Newport, about 13 miles south of Depoe Bay, your base for the third day. First, follow the signboards for Yaquina Head Outstanding Natural Area to find the 1873 Yaquina Head Lighthouse. The basalt headland here stretches from a mile into the sea, with a series of dramatic offshore rock formations that serve as a wildlife sanctuary for seabirds and seals. A staircase leads to a stone-covered beach smoothed by the sea. Visit Newport's bayfront around noon to find restaurants serving seafood caught hours earlier by commercial fishing vessels based here. Then head to the Yaquina Bay State Recreation Site on the north side of the Yaquina Bay Bridge. This is the lighthouse that was disabled by the beacon we saw earlier. This is actually a 2-story wooden house with lights mounted on the roof. Tour the warden's residence and overlook Yaquina Bay. Oregon Coast Aquarium and Nye Beach. Newport is home to one of the Oregon coast's most famous bridges. This is a long, graceful bridge designed by Conde McCullough in the 1930s. Cross the Yaquina Bay Bridge to reach the popular Oregon Coast Aquarium. Pass an outdoor aviary with tufted piffins and an outdoor tank with sea otters before reaching the fascinating tank inside. It's been a fulfilling day. But how about taking a walk on the beach before dinner? The area around Nye Beach is a good option for this. Many of the nearby homes date back to the early 1900s when Newport was one of the few resort towns on the Oregon coast. Day 4. Yachats and Cape Perpetua. From here to the California border, the indoor attractions fade, but the rugged beauty intensifies. 24 miles south of Newport, USA 101, the artistic and thriving village of Yachats has no commercial development to speak of, but who would want to trade with such a beach? It is characterized by tidal pools. A gate has often washed ashore after storms. At the southern extremity of the city is overshadowed by the massive mass of Cape Perpetua, an 800-foot headland and the highest point on the Oregon coast. At Cape Perpetua Scenic Area, explore ancient forest hiking trails, dig into coastal tidal pools, see the seemingly bottomless Thor's Well sinkhole, and choke the power of incoming waves, and marvel at wonders such as the Devil's Churn. A narrow fissure shoots seawater geysers into the air. When you return to Yachats, you'd be delighted to discover a range of world-class restaurants. Day 5. Sea Lion Cave, Cobra Lily, Riverside, Florence. On the morning of Day 5, head south again over Cape Perpetua to the Hasita Head Lighthouse State Scenic Lookout. The lighthouse stands tall on the edge of a cliff above the rolling waves of the Pacific Ocean. Just a mile south is Sea Lion Cave, one of the Oregon coast's longest-running natural attractions. Take the elevator down and you'll find windows overlooking the largest colony of sea lions on the west coast. After another 6 miles, look for a highway sign that says Darlingtonia State Natural Site. Although very small, this small wetland borders the United States. 101 incredibly beautiful. It's home to emerald fields, a rare carnivorous plant that looks like thousands of eyeless cobras. The lunch destination is Florence. During the California Gold Rush, timber and food flowed into San Francisco via the Cethro River, which flowed through the heart of the city. The wooden shop fronts along the waterfront give this place a real historical character. Oregon Dunes and Cape Arago Highway. Although there are no official boundaries, the South Shore begins just south of Florence, as does Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area. Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area is a whole of 50 miles of towering sand dunes between the coastline and the United States. Coos Bay is next, a junction for the Cape Arago Highway. He on the route may not need to stop at all 3 state parks, but each has its appeal. The first is Sunset Bay State Park, a protected cove beneath high sandstone cliffs. At Shore Acres State Park, you can visit rose gardens where you can hear seals chirping in the distance. These animals are also a major attraction at Cape Arago State Park, which inhabits the offshore rocks that are part of the Oregon Islands National Wildlife Refuge. Travel to the United States after visiting one or all of the state parks. At night, take Route 101 south to Bandung. Day 6. Bandung and Golden Sands. Golfers from all over the world come to Bandung to play 6 famous link courses at Bandung Dunes Golf Resort. But this coastal community, located where the Coquille River meets the Pacific Ocean, was popular long before suckers got the better of it. It may have disappeared, but the beach and rock formations remain impressive. Take the Beach Loop Drive to Bowlers Beach State Park to see mighty monoliths named after their appearance, including Face Rock, Table Rock, the Sisters and Cat and Kittens. Along the way, pass the octagonal Coquille River Lighthouse, built in 1896. If you're in the US, drive south from Bandung on Route 101, and you will see cranberry fields. Many of these are now part of larger farming operations, but during the harvest season from mid-October to early December, cranberry tours are held, and many of the homemade cranberry jams and other products are sold around town. It is sold in. Then it's another 59 miles to Gold Beach, where the Rogue River meets the sea. Day 7. Gold Beach and Brookings. A jet boat ride on Rogue is an exciting way to experience this waterway, but if you prefer low octane, there are some great hiking opportunities in the Gold Beach area. The easy Francis Schrader Old Growth Trail takes you to a giant tree. The Rogue Riverwalk traverses scenic areas on the water. The 28 miles between Gold Beach and Brookings is a scenic corridor with several drawers and state parks to stop and take in the views. This area of the South Coast is known as Oregon's Banana Belt. This is because the climate and somewhat sheltered terrain encourage the growth of subtropical plants. Most of the domestic Easter lilies come from here. Impressive sea stacks and moving dunes make this one of the best places on the Oregon coast. And in addition to natural attractions, cultural attractions such as the Oregon Coast Museum, add extra days to your road trip along the Oregon coast. The smell of salt water is ever present, as is the allure of fresh seafood, and new seascapes unfold around every bend in the road. The scenic drive along the Oregon coast alone is worth a visit. Thank you for staying with us until the end of the video. We hope you have had a strong itinerary for a successful trip to the Oregon coast. Please like and subscribe. Until next time.